Over the last 200 years, fossil fuels have become an incredibly important resource to human civilization. Our homes, schools, cars, and technology all depend on a steady source of oil. We've allied with dictators, toppled governments, and even gone to war to protect our access to oil. But no matter what we do, we're about to run out. We need a replacement. But perhaps instead of looking for future technologies, we should re-examine past ones. For much of the 20th century, nuclear energy was the energy source of the future.
Fusion, our massive effort in the complex field of nuclear reactions, with the promise of power that is truly limitless.
After World War II, America saw a way to turn the destructive energy of the atom bomb into a force for good.
Nuclear reactors have been generating electricity for more than 25 years. By 1990, they will meet a large part of our needs for power.
This nuclear pellet has as much energy as 3 barrels of oil, 1 ton of coal. It's a very high density power source.
When the price of oil skyrocketed in the Yom Kippur War, nuclear reactors became the new craze.
I think the public perception to nuclear energy has varied over time. Before 3 Mile Island, the public was pretty much pro-nuclear or just not that committed either way. After the 3 Mile Island accident, there was obviously negative feelings towards nuclear that affected the nuclear power industry in this country.
However, despite the fact that nuclear power doesn't have these intermittency issues, it isn't a perfect solution.
Well, the problem with nuclear power is that it's more expensive, it takes too long to build nuclear power plants, and we don't have the time to build them given the situation we have with climate change.
So the intermittent power sources, which some people call renewable, like wind and solar, they have an advantage. They have some benefits, but they cannot provide 24/7, 365 days of a year electricity.
From the 1970s, solar and wind was like at 1% or 2%, and now it's almost 20% in some places. So that didn't come out of nuclear, that came out of coal. And so it allowed us to get cleaner sources of energy, so we need to be pursuing all of these areas.
But the craze didn't last.
Early this morning at a nuclear power plant in Pennsylvania. It was the first step in a nuclear nightmare.
As 2 nuclear reactors remain dangerously unstable.
An accident at the 3 Mile Island nuclear power plant.
На Чернобыльской атомной электростанции произошла авария.
We don't know for certain whether the Chernobyl reactor had a containment building.
Probably the worst nuclear reactor accident to date.
The Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant has reportedly lost control.
Won't reopen until they're sure it's safe.
Public opinion soon shifted towards fear. Today, nuclear reactors are shutting down, and public opinion of nuclear energy remains low. However, as our supply of fossil fuels decreases, we're left with few other options.
There's 2 issues. One, what should we do with the old reactors that are already running, and what are we going to do about going forward? Should we be building a new fleet of nuclear power reactors? Right now, the nuclear power reactors in the United States generate roughly 20% of our electricity, and it's carbon-free. So we really need that for the time being until we can replace them with better alternatives.
The thing that we're really that we're stuck with right now is what to do with the waste.
When the nuclear fuel is used and discharged from the reactor, it actually still has 96% of the energy left in it in uranium. The reason that we don't use it and we store it is because we currently do not allow recycling of nuclear fuel in this country.
At this point, there's no long-term repository to put it. It's supposed to be an underground geological repository, and there isn't one.
The nuclear industry acknowledges these as accidents, but each one we learn something from, and each one puts the right perspective in terms of the safety and the benefits.
Another major problem that these plants face is that public opinion regarding nuclear energy is still low. Opinion seems to be improving among scientists, but many people still have an instinctive reaction that nuclear energy is dangerous. As the impending energy crisis looms, lawmakers need to address alternative sources of energy instead of polluting fossil fuels. And one thing is for sure, nuclear energy has remained the safest form of energy. While we may not be sure how, America needs a source of safe, clean energy in the future. We need leaders in 2020 and beyond who are willing to look at all possible options, including ones that may not be currently favored by the general public. Humanity is going to need all the help we can get. And who knows, we might just find the solution we've been looking for.
St. Louis has proven that garbage can be put to use in generating power.
We could recycle this and get 96%. So we're actually sitting on waste that is energy we can use.
This is going to be on C-SPAN?
Well, hopefully.
So they don't have any alternatives to it other than to get rid of it.
Attention all students. You are cordially invited.
You wonder why you didn't do this before, but I'm sure it'll be carried forward in the future, and new and better ways to conserve energy will be thought of.